Okay, fourth graders, as you can see, today we're combining two lessons, 16 and 17 for Module 3, because they both have very similar lesson learning goals. In both lessons, we're going to be using place value discs to help us divide numbers. Okay, so again, today's another day where you're learning from this video, so please make sure to pause frequently, take responsibility for your own learning by pausing to take good notes and to follow along completely. Okay, you should have gone over your problem of the day already with your sub, but if not, please take some time, pause the video right now, and write down what the question's asking, the important information, and then show how you can solve it. Then, of course, you can unpause to check your answer. Okay, because I know that 78 is not divisible by 8, I know that there's going to be a smaller group. Also, it tells me that there's going to be remaining students, which also tells me that there's going to be a remainder. Now, because I know they need to be in groups of 8, I thought, with my math facts, what's the closest multiple of 8 that's close to 78? And I thought, well, 80 is really close, but 80 is bigger than 78, so I'm not going to be able to make 8 groups of 10. So I thought 1 less than 10 is 9, so 8 groups of 9 is 72 students. So if I take 72 students and I put them into groups so that there are 8 students in each group, there are 9 students in each group, that would use up 72 students. And so I know that there can be 9 students in each group. Now the remaining students, when they form their smaller group, there are 6 students left. So they would have a small group of 6 students. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm separating 78 into 2 parts. One part that has 72, because that's divisible by 8, and one part that has 6, and 72 plus 6 is 78. So I've used up all my students. Okay, so when we're using place value discs to help us divide, we of course need a place value chart first. So you see I've set up a place value chart, but what's different is this portion down here. And what's going on is that I know I want to divide by 3 because my divisor is 3. So I have my normal place value chart, but then I've added a little section down here with three little groups. Here would be my first group, here's my second group, and here's my third group. The reason why I have 3 groups is because, once again, I'm dividing by 3. Now, let's start by drawing our whole into our place value chart. My whole is 6 ones, so I'm going to draw 6 dots into the ones place. Now, when I divide, I'm sharing them equally, right? So I have to take 1. If I put 1 and move it into the first group, then I have to cross out 2 more and move them into the second group and the third group. I have more things to share. It works out that there's 3 more because I can put 1 into each group. My quotient, or my answer, is going to be however much is in one group. So there's one group. You can see that I have 2, and it's 2 ones. So the quotient, or the answer, is 2 ones. Of course, in standard form, that's written as 2. Let's try this again with a slightly more complicated example. I'm still dividing by 3, so you can see that I have set up my 3 groups down there, 1, 2, and 3. Now let's draw our discs. I have 3 tens, 1, 2, 3, see, 3 tens, and 6 ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's start sharing them. If I put this one into the first group, I need to put this one into the second group, this one into the third group. I'm out of tens. Let's share our ones. This one can go into 1, this one can go into 2, this one can go into my third group. I have 3 more. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 1 into each group. My quotient is going to be how much is in one group. Well, I have 1 10 and 2 ones. So in standard form, that is 12. So 3 tens, 6 ones divided by 3 is 12. Now when you see this problem, 36 divided by 3, you know that's the same thing, 36. And we have to divide them into 3 groups. Here's the first group, there's the second group, 1 10 in each group, 1 1 in each group, but I still have 3 left to share. 1, 2, 3. You can see that what's in one group is 12. And this also, you can use what you know about math facts to check, because 12 times 3 is 36. Remember that multiplication and division are inverse operations. When I do division this way, I should be able to do multiplication this way to check. 12 times 3 equals 36. Let's use a place value chart to help us divide 5 ones into 4 groups. So I have my tens and my ones here. Okay, I'm going to draw 5 ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, into place value discs. Yes? Now, I want to divide it into 4 groups, so I have to draw 4 groups down here. There's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, and 4 groups. So if I want to put one 1 into this group. That means I have to put another 1 into this group, another 1 into this group, and another 1 in this group. You can see that each group has 1 1, and I've used up 4 1s altogether right here. See that? Now I do have 1 1 left, but can I share 1 1 equally into 4 groups? No, there's not enough. So that must be a remainder. Okay, so if I look at what I have in one group, I have 1 1, which equals 1, and then my remainder is 1. Don't forget that remainder. Okay, now let's try it with this number, 45 divided by 4. Okay, let's draw a place value chart. Here's my 10s, here's my 1s, right? I have 45. That means I have 4 10s, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have 5 1s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to split this equally into 4 groups, so let's draw those 4 groups. There's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups. Let me extend that somewhat down a little bit. Okay, let's start sharing. I can put this 10 into this group. This 10 goes into the second group. This 10 goes into the third group. This 10 goes into the fourth group. Perfect. 4 10s, 4 groups, 1 10 into each group. I'm done with that part. Let's move on to the 1s. Here's 1 for this group, 1 for this group, 1 for this group, and 1 for this group. I do have 1 left over. Can I share that into 4 equal parts? I cannot. So I have to leave it as a remainder. So if I look at one group for my quotient, I can see I have 1 10. I'll write it up here, 1 10, and 1 1, which of course in standard form is 11. And then I have remainder 1 because I have 1 dot left over as my remainder. How might I be able to check my work? Well, remember, we said if division goes this way, I can use multiplication this way to check my work, which means I could do 11, which was my quotient, times 4, which was my divisor, right? Which equals 44. Wait a second, that doesn't equal my whole of 45. Well, this is where the remainder comes in. I could do 44 plus the remainder, which is 1, which is 45, and now it equals my whole. Check. Remember, when we have a remainder, okay, I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. Remember, when we have a remainder, it's basically we're taking our whole of 45 and splitting it into 2 parts. The part that is divisible by the divisor and the remainder, because the 44 is 11 groups of 4. Okay, let's try this one. We have 3 1s and we want to divide it by 2 into 2 groups, right? So here's my 10s, here's my 1s. I have 3 1s, 1, 2, 3. And I want to split it equally into 2 groups. So there's 1 group, there's 2 groups. Here's 1, here's 2. We have 1 left over. Can I split that equally into 2 groups? No. So my quotient must be, how many are in each group? 1. And then how many are left over? 1. 1 remainder 1. What if I have 3 10s divided by 2? Okay, here, oops, let me change it to black. Here is my 10s group. Here's my 1s group. I have 3 10s to start, right? 1, 2, 3. And I want to split it into 2 equal groups. There's 1 group, there's 2 groups. Okay, so there's 1 10, there's 2 10s. Ooh, I have 1 10 left over. So does this mean my answer is 1 10, remainder 10? No, because what do we know about this 10? I can regroup it into 10 1s. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? And when I do that, now I can share this. Here's 1, 2, let's cross out 2 more, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So when I have leftovers in the 10s or hundreds or thousands, I can always regroup them and share it out more. Now I have nothing left over, so let's see what the quotient is. 1 10, 5 1s, or 1 10, 5 1s, or 15. How am I going to check my work? Well, I remember I know division goes this way, so multiplication, the inverse could go this way. I could do 15 times 2, which is 30, and that's 3 tenths. So check my work is good. Try these 2 problems on your own. Pause the video to try it on your own. Don't forget to check your work, and then unpause to compare your answers to mine. So we can see that 4 1s divided by 3 is 1 remainder 1, and 42 divided by 3 is 14. Make sure that you are accurate with your regrouping over here. okay, and showing that you are regrouping the 10s into 10 ones. Then make sure you've checked your work for both of these examples so that you know how to check to make sure your answer is correct. Today, because we're covering two lessons, 16 and 17, these are the problems I would like you to do in each of the problem sets. Then you'll do your exit ticket, and you have 2 lessons of Zern today. So please make sure you use your time wisely and complete whatever you can't get done in your class at home. Okay? Thank you.